48 hours before the fight, Tom Loeffler, always busy, never nervous, promotions and logistic office of Triple G Promotions right here. Let's go to the being busy. Longest break of his career. You always wanted him to fight at least twice, 3 times a year, and this is what he wanted, but the break happened.
Look, he was frustrated after the controversial Canelo decision, which we all felt that he won that fight, but he took some time off, signed a major deal with the DAZN now, and now we're here 2 days before his return to Madison Square Garden. This is where we built his career. This is where we built the legend of Triple G, where he was knocking everybody out. Now 48 hours. It's all the final preparation. Like you said, the office is open pretty much 24 hours. And with this long break, fans want to see how he's going to look on Saturday night, how he's going to look June 8th. Where the fans are live there in Madison Square Garden. If they're tuning in on DAZN, he pretty much revamped his whole team between Jonathan Banks as his trainer, as James Lockwood as a nutritionist, Harold Parker as a strength and conditioning coach. He's pretty much assembled a different team, and now we'll have to see how the results are. He was always a very dominant fighter before, and we'll see how his dominance, whether it continues. We just saw a huge upset with Andy Ruiz last week. So, Steve Rolls is very hungry. Not for Snickers, but he's very hungry, and he's undefeated, and he's looking to get what Triple G has. Triple G has become one of the most marketable fighters in the world, selling out arenas worldwide. And if Steve Rolls has a victory on Saturday night, all of a sudden he can take over everything that Triple G has.
Before we go to the interesting part of the trivia regarding Triple G and Steve Rolls, you mentioned I mentioned the long break. Then you mentioned the big change with his training people, his team. Let's be honest, it was a big change. Big change
after 8 years, 9 years.
After 9 years.
Yep.
But I heard from the people who were privileged to watch the training, not just the trainer changed from Abel Sanchez to Jonathan Banks, but everything what Triple G was doing in the training.
A lot of it was.
Give us some insight. How do you see him?
Sure. Abel was very structured in his training regimen. Jonathan Banks brings a different structure to the training. He's looked fantastic in sparring. He has a different rhythm in sparring. You see he moves around a lot, but the proof is in the pudding. The proof is not how he looks in sparring, not how he looks in training. What the fans want to see is how he looks at Madison Square Garden under the big lights. So, come down. We still have tickets left. They start at $50. Come down to Madison Square Garden at the box office. Tune into DAZN, Ticketmaster, however you want to watch Triple G. But the Big Drama Show, don't miss it, because I think he's going to put on an exciting performance, and I think there's a lot of more exciting performances if he's successful on Saturday. Then naturally everyone's asking about the third Canelo fight, but we're focused 100% on Steve Rolls, because if he's not successful, then there is. Look at Anthony Joshua. Now all those big plans about unifications and big fights, now he's focused on just trying to get his titles back. So that's a huge U-turn for his career, and Triple G wants to make sure something like that doesn't happen for him.
Louis Bella said, talking about Steve Rolls, and I agree 100%, sometimes we saying the fighter has nothing to lose, but in this case, this is the truth. Steve Rolls had absolutely nothing to lose. It's the guy who was, I'm not going to say virtually unknown, but for the common boxing fans, but the guy can just go and let's do it. I mean, it was done a week before.
He really has nothing to lose. Andy Ruiz showed his heart, even though a lot of people questioned his conditioning, questioned his physique, but a lot of people underestimated his heart, and we know Steve Rolls is coming to win. He's hungry. He's acted very professionally. He's promoted the fight all the fight week, and everything that we've seen from him, him and his team are great to work with. So we're excited about having him on the show, and I think this is going to be. I think it's going to prove to be a great fight. And the main thing is it's going to test where Triple G is, how he looks with his training, and what the finished product will be in in the ring on Saturday night.
The crucial words, crucial words, the finished product, because this is new trainer.
Absolutely.
Longest break, we're bringing all this stuff, but it makes sense, and it puts those things together. Question, you know him very, very well, working with Triple G since 2011, if I'm correct.
That's correct.
Whatever happened a week ago, is it more pressure on him? Was a warning sign? Will he fight differently because what happened a week ago with Ruiz and AJ?
Well, we were all there live in the arena. We saw it firsthand. It's something that I wasn't expecting, that's for sure. I mean, I saw Anthony Joshua when he fought Vladimir Klitschko. And Vladimir was one of the most dominant champions that we've had in recent history. For Joshua to get up from that knockdown and then come back and knock out Vladimir, even when Ruiz got knocked down, you saw Ruiz stood toe-to-toe with Anthony Joshua. He wasn't afraid. He didn't go backwards. He was trading every time he got hit. He threw punches back, and it looked like he had the better chin that night. Now, a true champion like Anthony Joshua, he could come back and reclaim his titles. Look at so many fighters that. Lennox Lewis, so many fighters that came back. Look at even Vladimir. He had a deficit.
After Brewster fight, nobody gave him a chance.
Everyone wrote off Vladimir.
Game
that was
over.
His second knockout loss, and actually third at that point because he outshot Ross Beardy. But look at that. After the Brewster loss, everyone said, "Okay, it's finished." And then he went on to one of the longest championship reigns in heavyweight history, and so Anthony Joshua can. Put himself back together and get back on top of the world. But, it's going to be interesting what happens with his fight. And to go back to your question, Triple G doesn't want to take any chances like something like that happens against Steve Rolls.
But still, big drama show. I don't see Triple G just being like very measured, no-risk fighter because it's not him.
No, that's not what I meant. I meant the end.
We all hope so.
Triple G has one of the best chins in boxing. He's never been knocked down in the amateurs, never been knocked down in training, in sparring, never been knocked down in the pros. So we don't have to worry about that part. But at the same time, you want to work on your defense. You don't want to get hit. You don't want to prove that you have the best chin in boxing. But, look at there's knockouts like Daniel Giel where he got hit flush on the chin and he came right back and knocked him out almost in the same motion. He's knocked out a lot.
I remember that.
He stopped a lot of fighters who had never been stopped before in their career. So I think with Jonathan Banks, you'll see more movement. You'll see a little more agility. You'll see some different combinations, but you'll still see the Big Drama Show. His punching power isn't going anywhere. The guy that had 23 knockouts in a row, one of the most historic knockout streaks that we've seen in recent times, that's the guy you're going to see in there, but an even more ferocious and determined fighter.
The last question, because there's so much talk, especially from you guys.
Yeah.
Canelo is kind of quiet about it. You guys expecting the third fight possibly in September? I know you don't want to look ahead because there's Steve Rolls in front of us in 48 hours, but what about the other guys who want to test Triple G? Andre could be one of them.
DAZN signed
Or Zelensky.
DAZN signed the big names to make the big fights. Clearly, Canelo did his job. He beat Danny Jacobs. Triple G's got his test in front of him with Steve Rolls, and if Triple G's successful, there's no secret that DAZN wants to make the biggest fights in boxing, and that is the biggest fight in boxing, really. That can.
But do you guys have a promise of this happening?
There's no promise, and we can't really go into the contract terms, but there's definitely one of the big selling points that DAZN made was this would be the clearest, signing with DAZN would be the clearest path towards getting a third Canelo fight. So, and look, Canelo signed a huge deal with DAZN as well, so they want to make sure that he's in the biggest fights.
Thank you very much. Always busy.
Good.
Only once you were looking on your phone. So in 9 minutes and 14 seconds. Thank you very much, Tom.
Thanks, Peter.